The week before the firm's anticipated IPO, Marcus spent $9.99 million to hire an influencer with millions of followers promoting products. Daisy confidently promised to sell $50 million worth of goods, but in the end, she only sold $200 worth. Looking at the warehouse overflowing with merchandise, I was about to have my lawyer sue Daisy, but stopped me. Daisy is a new streamer. She needs support. It's just a mishap. It's not like we can't afford it. I paused, then understood. In that case, please have a lawyer draft a divorce agreement for me. Silence filled the room, and the lawyers exchanged uneasy glances. Marcus rubbed his temples and spoke resignedly. Grace, don't be temperamental. You want a divorce over one failed promotional event? I stared at him and gave a decisive nod. Was I being unreasonable? Or was he deliberately defending her? Daisy, the student from a low-income background he had sponsored for 5 years. 5 years ago, the firm needed positive public relations to prepare for its IPO. It was then that Marcus proposed sponsoring a group of promising students from low-income backgrounds in the firm's name. Daisy was one of them. I had assumed she would work doubly hard after graduation to change her fate. Given her background, I never imagined she would be this diligent. Diligent enough to come between Marcus and me. Daisy quickly glanced at Marcus's grim expression, gritting her teeth, her flushed face turned red, and she knelt directly in front of me. Grace, I know you have issues with me. After all, I frequently discuss work late with Mr. Marcus. But Marcus truly cares about you. If this incident affects your relationship, I would feel terribly guilty. How about I offer all my live stream earnings from the past few months to compensate the firm? Would that be okay? I scoffed, my gaze coldly fixed on her. I don't understand why Marcus would be interested in an idiot like you. The merchandise in our warehouse is worth tens of millions. Is your money enough? Or are you saying a simple apology can offset it? Marcus looked at Daisy kneeling on the ground, unable to bear it. He bent down and helped her up. Daisy's knees buckled, and she let out a delicate gasp. She leaned awkwardly into Marcus's arms. Marcus's body stiffened, and he instinctively pushed her away. But when he looked back at me, his eyes held an impatience he didn't even realize was there. It was just a mistake. Why are you being so aggressive? I couldn't believe it. Mr. Marcus finds me aggressive because this loss hasn't impacted you. Those are high-end custom gift boxes, with a shelf life of only 3 months. Now piled up in the warehouse, someone has to bear this loss. Marcus cut me off. I told you, we can afford this minor loss. The firm is about to go public, and you making things difficult for Daisy will hurt the firm's image. Marcus had always been very confident in his business acumen. I watched Marcus carve a path through the business world, growing from a small studio to what it is today. Every step was hard-won. Anyone would be impressed by him. He detested anyone who harmed the firm's interests. Even when Liam accepted a pack of cigarettes from a client, Marcus insisted on firing him. Yet now, he was willing to let the firm suffer millions in losses for Daisy. Looking at it now, his principles were truly laughable. I no longer wanted to waste my breath on him. After all, I would soon be divorcing him. Just as I was about to leave the office, the door was suddenly pushed open. Several shareholders stormed in, their faces grim. Mr. Marcus, you must give us an explanation. You spent $9.99 million to hire an influencer, claiming she had millions of followers, but they were all fake. Now suppliers are demanding payment, clients want refunds, and the firm's valuation has started fluctuating. Exactly. You're a jinx. You've ruined us. They moved to rush at Daisy. Marcus's face instantly darkened, and he shielded Daisy behind him. Then, as if realizing something, he turned sharply to me. Did you leak the news? Even if you have issues with Daisy, you can't jeopardize the firm's future. He almost made me laugh in anger. Marcus, when you spent $9.99 million for Daisy to gain experience, why didn't you consider the firm's future? Now that there's a problem, you don't blame yourself, but instead suspect me. Marcus froze for a moment. His expression became even more unpleasant. Grace, if not you, then who else? My patience has limits. I'll handle this matter myself. You don't need to stir up more trouble. With that, he protected Daisy, pushed through the crowd, and slammed the door shut behind him without looking back, leaving the room full of shareholders and me. The lawyer, who had been standing in the corner, approached and quietly asked, Ms. Grace, should we proceed with the divorce papers? I took a deep breath, suppressing the turmoil in my heart. Continue, and the sooner the better. Keep a close eye on the compensation claims. Although I had rarely been involved in the firm's affairs recently, Marcus still maintained my private office next to his, since I was getting a divorce. I naturally needed to clear out my belongings. As I approached the office, I saw a figure through the frosted glass, Ms. Grace. It was Thomas, a longtime employee who had been with Marcus and me for many years. "You're here, that's perfect. Could you help me organize my office?" Thomas agreed, looking at me as if he wanted to say something but hesitated. Finally making up his mind, "Ms. Grace, Mr. Marcus just asked me to clear out your office as well. What exactly happened?" I gave a wry laugh. Marcus and I had been together for many years. Our intentions even aligned. It was just unfortunate that he thought I should stop interfering with company affairs while I was leaving. What an ironic coincidence. I said no more, squatting down to help Thomas pack. This firm was Marcus's life's work, but it was also mine. 7 years ago, he focused on product development. I focused on business operations. For sparkling eyes when he spoke of his dreams, to ensure Marcus's talent would be recognized by talent scouts, for our future to be smooth and peaceful, to secure more deals. I drank until I was sick. Most of the firm's early orders were secured through relentless networking and drinks by me. Marcus felt concern for my efforts and once begged me not to push myself so hard. Ultimately, things had changed. The office layout was largely unchanged. Marcus's handwritten sticky note was still on the wall. "Once firm is profitable, I'll take Grace to Iceland to see the aurora. Don't work so hard." Marcus felt concerned for you. I peeled them off one by one. I didn't have many belongings, and with Thomas's help, we finished packing quickly. As carried my boxes out, we were met by Chloe. She ripped off my office sign and replaced it with a new one. Startup Thomas stopped her, puzzled. "These are Mr. Marcus's orders. He also said this would be Daisy's office from now on." So that was it. Marcus wanted me to step down. His goal was for Daisy to take my place. Thomas drove me home, looking at me several times in the rearview mirror. "Ms. Grace, can you really let go of 7 years of shared history? Even if I couldn't, what difference would it make? He's not the Marcus I knew." After arriving home, I fell into a deep, hazy sleep. When I woke up, it was already the next day. The moment I moved, a sharp, acidic pain shot through my stomach. Drinking excessively in my younger years had already damaged my stomach. Suddenly, warm hands rested on my soft stomach. The pain subsided significantly. Marcus sighed. "Grace, why didn't you even eat dinner? I made you breakfast. Have some, you'll feel better." He picked me up gently and carried me to the dining chair. The house staff around us were already accustomed to this. "Our Marcus is so fortunate. Mr. Marcus made her breakfast especially." I stared blankly at Marcus's chiseled face. Somewhat lost in thought, a sliver of an inappropriate hope stirred within me. To outsiders, he was a truly good husband when my stomach was at its worst. The doctor advised a liquid diet for stomach recovery. Marcus repeatedly cooked, honing his great cooking skills. A steaming bowl of noodle soup was placed in front of me. "Your stomach needs gentle, warm food to recover. Yam-based noodle soup and steamed egg with shrimp." I made sure not to add scallions and cilantro. Marcus looked at me tenderly, as if what he had done to me yesterday had never happened. But I wasn't the one who didn't eat cilantro. Daisy's online username was cilantro-free. I smiled, took the bowl of noodle soup, and then smashed it on the floor. "Stop pretending. When are we going to the courthouse together?" Marcus didn't even frown. He just squatted down to pick up the pieces. "You can take out your anger, but don't mention divorce again." Marcus's phone vibrated. After answering, his expression grew increasingly serious. He hung up, a slight apology in his tone. "Something came up at the firm. Daisy is new and needs my guidance." The stomach pain returned, and I instinctively grabbed his wrist. He patted my back, instructed the house staff to make new breakfast, and then left with a hurried, anxious expression. Watching his hasty departure, my tears finally welled up. I thought he would remember that today was our 7th anniversary. I shouldn't have had any expectations. The lawyer called to tell me there was progress on the compensation claims. With undeniable evidence, Daisy was facing millions in damages. Finally, I felt a sense of relief. I had one last thing to do. That was the charity gala before the firm's IPO. For this charity gala, I had invited many leading businesses in the industry to attend. Marcus was not good at socializing. I needed to handle the social aspects. As the car barely came to a stop at the hotel entrance, the shareholders from the office surrounded me. Several people were talking over each other. I really don't understand Mr. Marcus's thinking. Letting that woman into our firm. Don't worry, Ms. Grace, we all know you built this firm. If Marcus did anything wrong to you, well, collectively protest. I nodded, a warm feeling welling up inside me. My assistant took me to the dressing room to change into my gown and do my makeup. I expected Daisy to show up, but I didn't expect her to be so impatient. Halfway through my makeup, Daisy barged in. Ms. Grace, for some reason, my makeup artist hasn't arrived yet. Could I borrow your makeup artist? After all, you're getting older. No amount of makeup can hide that aged look. Her face, reflected in the mirror, was full of triumph. She wore a strapless dress today, which highlighted the hickeys below her collarbone even more. The marks were fresh, as if newly made last night. Seeing me unmoving, she smiled again. Ms. Grace, I haven't thanked you yet. Thank you for giving up your position. So now, can I have the makeup artist? These words weren't just about my office. They were about Marcus too. I stared at her, raising an eyebrow. What if I don't? Marcus walked in and saw us. Daisy's eyes lit up when she saw him, and she spoke sweetly. Marcus, this is my first time attending such a big gala. Of course, I can't embarrass myself. I don't want to compete with Ms. Grace. But Marcus looked at me and hesitated. Daisy has a point. How about it? I turned around and looked directly at him. She hired her. Why should I clean up her mess? She doesn't deserve it. Daisy's face instantly turned pale. She swayed, her eyes red-rimmed, and then ran off. Marcus stood still, but his hand, hidden beneath his cuff, trembled slightly. It was a concern he didn't even realize he had. After changing, I suddenly remembered my clutch was in another dressing room. As I reached the door, I overheard Marcus's voice through the crack. I'll handle those millions in compensation. You don't need to worry. Only then did I understand why the lawyer said the compensation claims were going smoothly. It turned out Marcus was paying out of his own pocket. Of course, Daisy barely had any money. He truly was a saint, sponsoring her education and her life. The charity gala began, and Daisy went on stage to speak, representing the firm's new business direction. Marcus stood beside her, his eyes full of undeniable admiration. Daisy was radiant and vibrant, and her few words drew applause from the audience. When their eyes met again, the tenderness in his eyes was almost overflowing. Daisy triumphantly raised her glass to toast me. I wanted no more connection with her and turned to leave, but she suddenly gasped, her ankle twisted, and she stumbled into the champagne tower. Hundreds of glass cups crashed down towards me. The cold liquid spilled all over my back with a dull thud. All eyes in the room turned to us. Daisy turned to look at me, a flicker of helplessness in her eyes, and asked in a trembling voice, Grace, I know you have issues with me, but why would you push me? Marcus rushed to her side almost instantly, his deep, dark eyes and handsome brows furrowed, looking at me in disbelief. It's one thing if you don't like Daisy, but you can't cause a scene regardless of the occasion. My patience has limits. This is hardly how a proper Mrs. Marcus behaves. Several media members nodded. So Grace is really that jealous? Not even letting a newcomer off the hook? I think people like her shouldn't be in the firm. They hinder its development. Ugly remarks poured in, and several longtime employees of the firm couldn't stand it anymore. Mr. Marcus, why are you protecting this jinx the moment you arrive? Ms. Grace, and you have 8 years of shared history. She would never do such a thing. Marcus's face darkened, and he cradled Daisy's swollen ankle in his hands, massaging it. Daisy smiled shyly, stroking her stomach. Thankfully, our baby is fine. These words caused a huge stir. Everyone in the room froze, their eyes darting between her and me. Marcus and I had been married for 7 years and had only been pregnant once. But due to excessive drinking, the embryo died early. The doctor said I had a weak constitution and it was very difficult to conceive. Marcus had always publicly claimed it was his issue. But's pregnancy shattered his protection of me. Perhaps during those late nights, Marcus was by her side every day. Uncle from the firm stepped forward. How could you betray Ms. Grace and betray the firm for this C-list influencer? The company reached this point thanks to Ms. Grace's efforts. Hearing Robert's words, Marcus's face darkened. He spoke with great dissatisfaction. What do you mean, all the firm's credit goes to Ms. Grace? The firm strongly discouraged forming cliques. I think you've all gone rogue today, haven't you? I raised my hand, stopping Uncle from further protest. I forced myself up, ignoring the throbbing pain in my ankle, and limped onto the stage. My face was calm as I looked in Marcus's direction. Marcus, you say the firm isn't mine, but it's certainly not yours either. You fell for Daisy. This student from a low-income background and even spent nearly 10 million from the firm on her. Do you think everyone here is a fool? From today forward, you and I are completely separate. Don't even think about using a single cent of the firm's money for the mistress's compensation. We are finished. Every word was clear and impactful. Having said that, I had no desire to look at Marcus's unreadable expression again. I rushed out of the gala venue and got into the car heading home. I had already packed my belongings at home. The lawyer sent me the drafted divorce papers. I took off the ring on my ring finger and threw it in the entryway. In the most conspicuous spot, he would see it as soon as he returned home. I picked up the plane ticket I had already booked and got into the car to the airport. While waiting for my flight, my phone kept ringing. No messages came from Marcus. But Daisy's messages kept flooding in. Ms. Grace, stop making a scene. Do you know how upset Marcus has been since you left? Last night he was drunk and insisted on sleeping with me. You know I'm pregnant and it's inconvenient. I'll leave it to you. Grace, from now on, every line was full of provocation. I immediately blocked her and walked into first class. Seeing the city grow smaller outside the window, my heart truly felt free. The next day, Marcus took Daisy to the best hospital for a checkup. Seeing the pregnancy confirmation slip, he felt inexplicably anxious. Damn it. It should have been good news. Why did he feel uneasy? Footsteps echoed in the VIP section, and Marcus suddenly felt a surge of hope. Could it be Grace? But only my lawyer appeared before him. Marcus's face turned cold. Didn't I say I'd handle the compensation you asked for? Why are you still haunting us? The lawyer pushed up his glasses and handed over some documents. I am authorized by Ms. Grace to deliver this divorce agreement to you. The words divorce papers were starkly written in black and white before his eyes. Marcus's breathing almost stopped. Daisy, beside him, brightened and tugged at Marcus's sleeve. Marcus, does this mean we can be together openly and officially now? I'll give birth to this child and create a happy home for you, okay? Marcus slapped away the divorce agreement, veins bulging. Who said I was divorcing Grace? He suddenly remembered that after last night, Grace seemed to have vanished. The champagne tower had crashed on her. Was she all right? Marcus's face was tense as he pulled out his phone and dialed a number he knew by heart, but only a cold, automated female voice answered. Daisy had never seen him so distraught. Feeling uneasy, she quickly embraced Marcus from behind. Marcus, what's wrong? My stomach feels a bit uncomfortable. Marcus snapped back to reality. He gently removed her arms from around him. I'll arrange for the best doctors. Just focus on your health for now. With that, he rushed down to the parking lot, normally so composed. He uncharacteristically floored the accelerator to 80 miles per hour. After getting out of the car, he almost stumbled through the door. Grace. Marcus called my name urgently. Not far from the entrance, the once warm mansion seemed the same as before, but it was terrifyingly quiet. What caught his eye was the diamond ring on the dining table. It was our eternal love diamond ring from our wedding. He instantly panicked, his breathing quickening. Seeing a house staff passing by, he quickly grabbed them. Where did Grace go? What had happened that night had already spread everywhere. The house staff looked at him with a mocking look in her eyes. Mrs. Marcus left home last night. She also asked me to tell you. She doesn't want this home anymore. Marcus instantly became violent, his roar echoing through the mansion. Grace? How dare you leave me without my permission? The house staff recoiled in fear. Daisy's phone rang again. Marcus grew even more agitated. Daisy cried. The old firm's debt collection calls are coming in again. Marcus, what should I do? Marcus froze. Didn't I already submit the transfer request? It was submitted, but it's stuck. I can't pay. I had 30% of the shares in this firm. Coupled with the shares of the founding shareholders who supported me, it amounted to more than Marcus's shares. He wanted to move company funds. It won't work. After a 2-hour flight, I returned home, and my parents were stunned. 3 seconds later, my parents finally reacted. Approaching me with red-rimmed eyes, daughter, you're finally home? Although their words were scolding, their eyes held undeniable excitement. Initially, they strongly opposed me venturing out with Marcus, but back then, I believed love was everything, and following him only ended up deeply hurt. In the end, only home was my eternal safe harbor. Margaret had just been cooking, smelling the aroma of delicious food drifting from the kitchen. I suddenly felt hungry. I held my stomach, and Margaret immediately noticed my upset stomach. Margaret quickly brought out the already prepared dishes and made a few more of my favorites. The warm, comforting food settled in my stomach, and I finally felt at peace. For the next few days, like a sloth, I stayed cooped up in my room every day, sleeping endlessly. When my parents knocked on my room door for the 5th time, I sighed deeply. Mom, I really can't eat anymore. After learning about my stomach illness, my parents consulted many herbalists. They brewed herbal soup for me 3 times a day, strictly insisting I finish it. When I first returned, I weighed less than 100 pounds. Now I had soared to 140 pounds. My best friend far away wasn't idle either, sending me many updates about Daisy and Marcus. Daisy pretended to stream while pregnant for Marcus's sake. Surprisingly, Marcus agreed. He allocated many resources and invested a lot of money, but there was no improvement. To support Daisy, Marcus implemented many promotional policies. This disrupted market prices. The distributors reacted strongly, all demanding Marcus remove Daisy from the company. For this, Daisy even cried on stream, saying people were targeting her. Reluctantly, Marcus had to clean up her mess. A sharp-eyed reporter asked, "Ms. Grace always handled it before, and there were never any errors. Why was there such a huge mistake this time?" Marcus's chest heaved, and he showed a look of regret as if remembering something. In the past, he focused on product development. I focused on business operations. He only focused on perfecting the product, neglecting that sales operations are also very important. Without me, and with an idiot like Daisy, how could it continue? Thus, the IPO was repeatedly delayed. Even with the firm and Daisy overwhelming him, Marcus didn't give up searching for me. He called all my numbers and sent people to look for me. I didn't understand why, when he was the one who discarded me first. He was the one who chose someone else first. It was ridiculous that after 7 years together, he didn't even know where my home was. Margaret pulled my hand to have brunch. Mom, can I sleep a bit longer? I was still mumbling when I saw who was sitting next to me and suddenly woke up. Ethan. During my time at home, seeing me unhappy, my mom specifically invited my childhood friend over. He's been visiting quite often while you've been away. Margaret chattered on about his good qualities, and Ethan winked at me. I felt a moment of disorientation. We grew up together, and there were some feelings for each other, but we were young and naive, always thinking it wasn't love. So one went abroad to seek true love. I continued my studies. Ultimately, he didn't find love, and I was deeply hurt now. Spending time together again, it felt as close as family. With him, I finally felt a long-lost sense of peace. To cheer me up, Ethan took me to the school we attended together as kids, the mountain we climbed, the river we swam in. I was back to that carefree time. Ethan gazed at my smile, lost in thought, and then gently touched my face. He seriously confessed his feelings to me. My face flushed, but the sincerity of the person before me made me unwilling to push him away. Finally, I nodded. Ethan picked me up, as if he had found a treasure. Show me off to everyone. This is my girlfriend. Aren't you jealous? I always found it both amusing and exasperating. Another 2 weeks passed. The next time I saw Marcus on TV, he looked unusually haggard, dark circles under his eyes that couldn't be hidden. He was the most presentable person. Yet he displayed his decline for all to see. He tried to transfer funds but was frequently blocked. Daisy was as demanding as her name suggested, constantly nagging for prenatal supplements or demanding the best delivery suite. This made Marcus extremely vexed. Another 2 weeks passed. Seeing delayed signing the divorce agreement, Daisy became anxious. A video suddenly circulated online. The footage was dark, shot in a hotel room. 2 people entangled in the video. Though their faces were unclear, netizens quickly uncovered the identities of the protagonists online. It was Marcus and Daisy. Netizens started calculating the timeline, judging by the timestamp on the surveillance footage. It seems to be from when Daisy was still a small streamer, so they had an affair, then got married. It made me blush, so intense. Not only that, these images were printed and made into coffee cup sleeves, distributed to the firm's employees. When walked into the firm, he saw subordinates occasionally glancing at him and whispering, "So viral, hit the mark on the first try. Why hasn't he announced his marriage to Daisy yet? Doesn't he already have a child?" He couldn't sit still anymore. Sitting in his chair, he would often glance at the office next to him. That office used to bear the Vice's nameplate. He sorted out the mess in his head, grabbed his car keys, and went downstairs. Driving directly to the hospital, Just as he was about to reach Daisy's room, he saw a familiar figure slipped furtively into the room. He frowned, about to follow. But then he heard the conversation inside. Isn't this too risky? The greater the risk, the greater the reward. Don't you understand that? If marries me, his money will be mine. Then I'll manipulate the company's shares. I guarantee he goes bankrupt. So that was your goal. The firm didn't waste its efforts training you. Good. Marcus was all too familiar with the voice of the person talking to Daisy. It was Mr. Hayes, chairman of the firm's biggest competitor. Marcus's mind exploded. Daisy was a mole sent by the rival firm. Damn it. Why didn't I ever see it? His face dark. He pushed open the door. The two inside were startled, and after seeing who had entered, Daisy's face turned pale with fright. Marcus rushed forward, grabbing her wrist, and asked sharply, "Were these all you're doing?" Daisy's face became unnatural. She spoke in a weak, soft voice. "Marcus, please don't scare me. I don't understand. You did it. You put our hotel video online, trying to force me to marry you. You deliberately took the live streaming commission without actually promoting, causing our company to have tens of millions in inventory piled up. You even knocked over the champagne tower that night, didn't you? Answer me." His eyes were like cold knives, his teeth gritted fiercely. Daisy had lost her alluring charm. So what if it was? "I gave you my first time. Are you trying to shirk responsibility? I'm pregnant with your child. You must marry me. Everyone already knows about us anyway." Marcus's eyes were full of disappointment. "You said you just graduated and wanted to make a name for yourself, asking me to help you. You got me drunk and made me sleep with you, you shameless woman." He felt a chill throughout his body. He suddenly remembered the look in Grace's eyes that night. There was pity, resentment, but no love left. He felt empty inside, pulled out his phone, and booked the fastest flight to Riverton City. He also ordered the nurse to move Daisy to a standard ward. It was the next day when I saw Marcus. "Oh my, what are you doing? Get up. Kneeling won't help. Where was your regret when you slept with that mistress?" "I came home with breakfast and saw Marcus kneeling outside my house. His hair hung limply, his stubble dark. When he saw me, his eyes lit up, and he rushed over. Grace, I thought you would never see me again." I looked at him expressionless. "Marcus, we're done. Please don't call me Grace anymore. I find it repulsive." With that, I flung his hand away and didn't look at him again. I took my parents' hands and went inside. My parents looked at me and nodded in satisfaction. It was a heavy storm day, with strong winds and rain outside the window, but remained kneeling directly outside my house. Many passers-by watched, but what good was it? Belated deep affection is cheaper than grass. When I went out for the third time, his voice was full of exhaustion. "What will it take for you to forgive me? I'll make Daisy abort the child, you know? She deceived me. She was sent by a competitor to ruin our company. I cut him off. We can't go back. If you have even a shred of regret for the firm or for me, then resign." The sound of a sports car came from outside, and a red sports car stopped at the gate. Marcus stared blankly, raising his head, only to see my hand being taken by another pair of long, slender fingers. And I got into the car. It was Ethan. Despair burst forth in Marcus's eyes. Company matters were still waiting for him to handle. He had no choice but to go back. Daisy was forcing him to marry her again. At the same time, the firm's shareholders also sent him a paternity test result. The child in Daisy's belly wasn't his at all now. The news of him being cuckolded spread widely online again. Wherever he went, people whispered about him, their eyes full of disdain. Marcus ultimately resigned. Daisy was also kicked out, and she still had to bear the millions in damages herself. Having no other choice, Daisy embarked on a path to quick money, frequenting various bars and clubs every night. After resigning, Marcus settled down in Riverton City. Coming to the house repeatedly, my parents had long looked down on him. They not only threw out everything he brought but also ordered security not to let Marcus in again. The 10th time Marcus was staking out at the neighborhood entrance, I appeared voluntarily. "Marcus, sign the divorce papers." Marcus's lips were pale and almost translucent, trembling slightly as he spoke. "Do you truly not love me anymore?" My eyes were calm, looking into the distance. "I loved you, that's all. I never doubted genuine feelings. But genuine feelings can change in an instant, including yours." Marcus was silent for a long time, eventually lowering his head. "Okay." When saw this, he was so happy he couldn't stop smiling all night. "Grace, you like me, don't you? You really like me." I opened my eyes to everything around being a celebratory red, then turned and gave him a playful glare. I'm already planning to marry you, and you're still asking such a silly question." Ethan wasn't annoyed. He rolled over and pulled me into his arms. "Yes, you're my fiancé now. So you definitely like me. It's so good that you like me." I eventually gave up trying to adjust myself into a comfortable position and gradually drifted off to sleep. The last thought I had before falling asleep was, "Yes, I'm glad it's you in the end." A month after marriage, I actually got pregnant. According to the doctor, it was Marcus who had issues, not me. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comment section.